fueling the passions and the desires of the men. And I hate to say, even the women, because in this society, they don't care anymore, men or women. So we would advise that if one of our sisters finds another sister who is not wearing hijab, that you employ all the correct methods of giving that person dawah. And the correct methods are to explain to them, first of all, to show them the proofs and the evidences from the Quran and from the Sunnah and from the understanding of those people who understand the religion the best, the companions. So to show them what are the proofs and the evidences. That is the first thing. This is what Allah says and this is what the Prophet says. For most people, many people, that is enough. For example, my sister-in-law, many years ago, she thought that the hijab was just an Arab dress. My wife's family is originally from India. She thought that the hijab was just an Arab dress. She thought we wear shawal kameez and they wear this, black thing and whatever, right? This is what she thought, right? Until she saw the evidences from the Quran and she saw the evidences from the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ, then that was enough for her to change. So she realized that now, yes, I realize this is from Islam. It's not from some tradition or from some culture. However, if that is not enough, then you should warn that person of the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life and the next. And you should remind them of the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life and the next for those who obey Him. If that is not enough, then on top of that you should add and explain to them the hikmah, the reason, the wisdom behind wearing the hijab. What is the wisdom behind it? What is, how wise it is, how noble it is, so on and so forth. So then you could do this. Yani if you have done all of these things, and you have said all of these things to them, then after that, it is going to be very difficult really, except that, when you feel it is appropriate, you keep on encouraging that person, you keep on reminding that person, and inshallah this is the best way, inshallah, to encourage them to wear hijab.
If you may clarify the point that you made earlier regarding a woman in an abusive relationship, how you advise a Muslim sister to stay in that marriage when the husband threatens her and her children?
All I said was that in order to preserve the relationship, to mend the relationship, to make bad relations good, I advise the woman to be patient and return what is evil with what is better. If the man has any type of decency in him, in a matter of days or weeks, or at the most you could say months, he should alter his behavior. However, if he continues to be abusive and violent in a very bad way, then you should seek advice from your elders, and you should seek advice from the people of knowledge and from the scholars as to how you should proceed from there. But I'm not really going to comment upon any particular thing, except to say that if you are in this type of relationship where you are suffering this type of physical or even mental abuse, then it is definitely permissible for you to find a way out, to get out from this relationship.
If it is a criteria for marriage that the man must be able to provide, would you therefore insist to marry them if we just have just enough suffering to provide?
according to Ahmad ibn Hanbal, it is not a condition. In other words, that being able to provide is something that is recommended and good, but it does not necessarily prevent you from getting married. It does not necessarily prevent you from getting married. So, this is of course up to the woman if she feels that, inshallah, she is going to enter into this relationship with a man who at that time or at that place does not have the means to provide and to marry him, then alhamdulillah this is her choice and she is allowed to do that. It is not an actual condition that he must be able to do that, but rather this is something that we could say that when he is able to provide and when he has reached the age that he is capable of performing those things which a man and woman do when they're married, in other words, he reaches the age of maturity, and when he has enough to provide, then marriage is something that becomes an obligation upon him. It becomes necessary for him at that time to get married. That's according to the saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "O young men, marry if you are able. O young men, marry if you are able." And ability is defined as being sexually mature and having a dwelling. Being sexually mature and having a dwelling. So if you are sexually mature and you have a dwelling, then you are considered to be able to get married, and you should get married.
You keep talking about how important a family is in society. What advice do you have for a sister who cannot find a good or righteous husband?
My advice to the sister, inshallah, is that you will, inshallah, find a good, righteous husband. If, inshallah, you are good and righteous, then have patience, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, and trust in Him and rely upon Him, and that will be enough for you. In the meantime, you should occupy yourself with studying, with gaining knowledge, with memorizing the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with involving yourself in da'wah activities, and enjoining what is right and forbidding what is wrong. And inshallah, if you help the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you.
You keep emphasizing on the husband's rights and how the wife is receiving from the husband. What about the wife's rights? Shouldn't the husband be attracted or her?
Yes. In fact, I think it is the saying of Ibn Abbas, but I'm not sure if it was him who said it or one of the other companions. It says that I like to look pleasing for my wife just as I like my wife to look pleasing for me. So just as the women should, when the husband come home, should not look like a shaitan, then also the man should not look like a tramp from the street or something like that. So the wife says, "Oh my God, what is this that has arrived?" So inshallah he should try to make himself also look presentable and handsome and take care of himself, not to look like we don't want to actually say whatever. But inshallah to look after oneself and keep yourself in physically good condition, which is something that every Muslim should be doing anyway. And inshallah, so yes, Jazakallah khair, the men should look after themselves and make themselves look presentable just as the women should look after